These episodes are intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion advised.
Oh, and when everything just kind of shuts down, like I couldn't perform, I lost contracts, I lost my job because it was a serving job at a comedy club. It's like, we can't serve nobody in this sickness. So it was just like, dang, I'm really starting over. What do I do? We got to be okay with that too. I think that I grew up wanting to please and be accepted. And everybody goes, accept me. I accept me. If I go to music school and then nothing happens, what do I do from there? I'm supposed to be succeeding. I'm supposed to go to college and then get a job, and I think what haunts me now is still being afraid of the consequences of not making the right choice. So I'm thinking about starting that book again. And I think that'll be very helpful to me to figure out where that bravery came from at 18 and how I can find it again, because it's still within me. Yeah. It's still there. But something else needs to connect for me to bring it out. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode. Today I have Sha'Air on. This is going to be a quick turnaround, guys, because today we are recording on the 8th and this is coming out on Veterans Day. So happy Veterans Day to everyone. I hope that you guys are having an awesome weekend. To all of our veterans out there, we're so grateful for your service and we thank you for all that you've done for our country, and those who are serving right now, we thank you as well. Back to the episode. Sha'Air, welcome to the podcast. It's so good to reconnect with you.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to connect with you. So good to see you, Gina. Hey.
Oh, yes. For those who don't know, like Sha'Air is like my big sister, and then she left me behind.
I know. I had to keep going with life, but I gave you the tools, That's so silly. That is so silly. Yeah. But yeah, that's really what it was like. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, wow, Gina, you're grown. Look at you. You grew up and you're making decisions. Gee.
Both of us, gosh.
Right.
It's crazy. So crazy. And it's funny that this episode's coming out on Veterans Day and you were always the one to sing the national anthem at every single sports event.
Everything. Military balls. What, y'all having an event? Oh, yeah. Let me ask Sha'Air. And then it's funny because my mom was low-key my manager. She was like, hey, so I got you a couple balls lined up. And I'd be like, what? What?
Low-key, she had a music career in high school, y'all.
I did. I really did. I was doing my thing. So yeah, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, y'all.
Yes, definitely. Yes. All right. First question. If you're 18 and you're graduating from high school, what advice would you give yourself?
So I'll have to say that when I was 18 and I was graduating from high school, I was so excited to go explore the world, and I was excited for college. But I think that, okay. Let me start over. So first I would say, take some time throughout the year, depending on if somebody was 18 and whatever place in their senior year they heard this, like take some time to sit with yourself and really think about what you would like to do. Because really the possibilities are endless, and you can go see the world before you go to college. You can go to a trade school. You don't even have to go to college. Like, you can get a certificate now. I mean, things are a little bit different. Like, they told us you're going to go to college and you're going to get a job and you're going to start a family and then you're going to like die. And I was like, that was the cadence. That was how you did things. And it was like, it doesn't have to be like that. So really sit with yourself and think about what you would like to do and look up paths on how to do that. So I know for me, I just wanted to perform. I wanted to sing, and I wanted to be creative. And I wasn't thinking about getting a job. I never said like, I want to be a doctor. No, I want to be performing and singing and and being an artist. So, but I didn't realize that my path was going to be different. It wasn't just going to be, I'm going to get a music degree and then go on from there to perform. Because when I got to college, I didn't even get into the music program.
What'd you do?
And there was I went to communications. And I did media production, and then I eventually got a minor in music and technology. So I learned how to be a music engineer, but I had to make a quick decision. And I auditioned to the music school, and they were like, "Oh, well, we want to give you a minor in vocal performance." And I could never reach the teacher, and so I just gave up. And so I went to communications, and so I had to make another plan. Although I love acting, I love TV and film. I got into radio. That's how I got into photography. So it did show me a whole new path for my life, which I love, and it was still creative, but I had to switch gears. So I would also say, like, have multiple plans and avenues on how you're going to reach your goals. I don't think that I had another goal other than like, oh, I'm going to go to college. It was like, okay, so what if that doesn't work? What else are you going to do? I didn't have another goal, so I had to figure it out. I was like, oh, that's what the real world's like.
Basically,
you know? Because I feel in high school, I had a lot of teachers who supported me. We had that community like that was very supportive for me. And you see, I got to practice singing and stuff and performing in the community and community theater. So I was very... people were hugging me to make me successful. So when I went to the States by myself, I was like, wait, what do I do? You know? So I had to, that was my first big adult decision. So So sitting with yourself, really understanding what you want to do, making a plan for that, and having a couple of avenues to get there. And I don't mean it has to be like a plan B or plan C is like, oh, artistry doesn't work out, I'm going to do something else, but that doesn't feel fulfilling. No, it doesn't have to be like that. It's just like, oh, maybe this college doesn't have the program. Maybe look at another college. And if that college doesn't work, maybe start with a job and then like intern somewhere so you can learn how to do whatever you're looking towards. So that's the advice that I would give. And also really just harping on figuring out what you want to do and not what your parents want you to do, what your teachers are saying. This is a good idea. This is how you do it. Because, I think in my family, although we are a military family, my mom was not like, go to the military and get college paid for. She was like, if you don't want to go, don't do that. I was about to curse. Don't do that.
You're good if you do it. You're good. You wouldn't be the first. You won't be the last.
Okay, great. Oh, awesome. I like that quote. Yeah. No, I was about to say, okay, I'm good. That's so stupid. So like, really just sit with yourself and it's like, what is for me? And it's okay if it changes because we're 18. What are we supposed to know about my whole life? How am I supposed to choose one thing right now for the rest of my life? I don't know. I'm still learning who I am. Yeah. Like, come on. So that's where I would go. That's what I'd say.
I understand that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Because like you, I think like, they're like, Gee, you should play basketball in college. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's been a job for the last 10 years of my life. Right. I've been playing for high school. I've been playing for my club team. I've yet to really just hang out with my friends and not have a care in the world. In my senior year, I got to experience that. And oh my goodness, I was like, who wants to go back? But I ended up going back. Because when I moved, kind of like you, it was like unfamiliar territory. I was like, oh, this is the real world. I need a safety net. Okay, safety net, basketball. Dumb decision. Wasn't the best decision of my life. But not thinking clearly, not away from your parents, the people you love the most. So, I did that. But I learned like you did. There's many different ways to get to where you want to be. And it's a long journey. It's a really long journey to get there. So tell me about your journey from the time that you were a child and until, now. Okay.
And also I want to say something about like being an athlete in college. Yeah, that is your only thing. Like that's you hang out with other athletes and people on your team because you get up at like 5 a.m, you do all that. So you like go to practice, then you have to go to classes, then you go to practice afterward, and then you probably have to go to study hall. And I was like, wait, this is good. I was like, never mind, this ain't fun enough. It's not fun.
And I was D3. I was like, this is D3. We did morning ones. We had after, and I was like, hold up. Half the people on our team are failing classes. I can't fail. I can't afford this college, okay? I can't afford it. None of us can afford it. We don't want to fail. We want to pass our classes. So a lot of us were like, yo, we need to focus. So, But you learn real quick, like, what you want and what you don't want.
Exactly. Okay, so childhood to now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ooh, child. So I grew up in a Jamaican household, but I'm Jamaican American. My mom's Jamaican, my dad's American. And although I grew up in a Jamaican household, I am still country and Southern to the core. Oh my goodness. I say y'all with from the depths of my soul. My ancestors be saying y'all when I say y'all. Like it's deep, okay? But I would say I had a lovely and playful childhood. My mother was an artist before she came to the States, and she went to drama school and she was a dancer. So that is how we grew up. Like we would play with our scarves and play dress up and become characters. We would sing and dance everywhere before we even found a stage. And that was celebrating our home. And we all like to celebrate and have a good time. So it was just laughing, singing, dancing, like being creative. And so it was awesome to grow up in an environment where that is supported and like, that's how we have fun. So my mom was in the military. All of my life. So we started out in Georgia. That was the first duty station I remember, but I think the base where she used to work is now Tyler Perry Studios. It's like a base that was shut down and like transferred, and he bought it or something like that. It's something like that. Y'all can look it up if you want to. But
we're gonna have to have a fact check, guys. We'll do that. Quick fact check. Tyler Perry purchased 330 acres of Fort McPherson to be the new home of Tyler Perry Studios. Now, back to the episode. Enjoy.
I wish you had a live fact checker. They were like, she is completely wrong.
We're going to get there.
We're going to get,
We'll have a producer and be like, yo, dude, is that right?
They'd be like, Gina, she is wrong. That'll be cool.
Cut it.
Edit it out.
Yeah.
So we started in Georgia, and then we went to Virginia. But in between that, like, even when I was a baby, we spent a lot of time with my grandmother in Burlington, North Carolina, because my mom went to like Korea, and sometimes you could take your family, but we were babies. So that'd be hard. 2 babies with my mom in a foreign country. But then we started in Georgia and then went to Virginia, and we were there for quite a bit. I would say that my military brat life was a lot different from others, because people would be moving like after a year or 2 years. And sometimes we got to stay at least 4 years in places. And even in Belgium, we were there for 6.5 years. So like we were lucky in that aspect. But so after Virginia, we were in Fort Belvoir area, and then we went to Belgium. That's where I met Gina, little sis. Yeah. And we were there for 6.5 years. But I left to go to college, and then my mom came back to the States in like 2012 and has been at the Fort Bragg area ever since. And that's where she retired. So, and then I went to college in Virginia, because that was the only place I really knew in the States to where I was like, oh, okay, I think that could be cool. Yeah. And I could have chosen North Carolina, or I could have chosen New York State. And I was like, I don't know nothing about New York State, and it feels like it's cold. And I was like, and North Carolina, I want to try something different. So I went to Virginia, went to George Mason, and that was right outside of DC. So it was nice to be able to explore DC. And GMU felt like it was like an international school. And I was like, oh, this reminds me of Shape, you know? But I soon later realized that there are a lot of international folks there, but it is a commuter school. So like at a certain point, everybody leaves. I was like, why is it so quiet on campus? Yeah, it's because it's a lot of like transfer students and people who live somewhere else and then just come to classes and go. So it was very interesting. But I loved my college career. It was very fun, and I learned a lot, and I was able to explore a lot and grow in my skills and talents and stuff. And so after that, after college, my mom was at Fort Bragg. And so I came to North Carolina. I was mad and I was salty because I was like, I didn't know. When I was in college, I was having so much fun that I didn't make a plan for afterward. And then the real world hits you hard because that plan they said to go to college and get a job. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a job. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get a job. What is this? I have the skills. What do you mean? Yeah. And then
did your college not set you up to get a job, or like were there not internships?
So I had 3 internships. I had one my junior year, and I had 2 my senior year. So one, I was like a street style photographer, and I used to write like little blogs on people around campus. And then the next one was with like a record company, and we would have to like promote albums and different things and do a lot of street promotion. So I like have experience, and I had a job. Like it's so funny. So then like leaving, I guess I never went to like a career transitions class, and I wish that I did. I remember talking to one of my friends, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm in this career transitions class. And I was like, what does that even mean? Do they help you? What are they helping you do? She was like, just teach you about like life. And I was like, huh, that's not enough information for me. But yeah, they were getting her right. I ain't know.
Got her right. Got her job. And she was ready.
Got her job. Because I ain't see her on Facebook being like, I'm at home, but she was living. I was like, dang. Yeah. So that's something I didn't realize. So, but I came back to North Carolina and figured it out, you know, working little grocery store jobs and retail stuff until I could get a job where I was actually making money. And then I found friends and found photography and was able to like capture people and started shooting weddings and different things and then performing in the area. So it's like, once I found my art community, I was like, okay, I'll be okay. I was like, I can stop crying. And then after that, I was like, okay, it's time to take this seriously. And I went up to New York and I wanted to do more theater. I started doing theater in Belgium, doing community theater. And they had a really good director there. His name was Dan Lamort. And he became our family friend and was really teaching me how to do everything. Oh, so Gina, remember I told you that I was like, I wanted to do music and stuff in college? Well, Mr. Dan actually helped me make an audition tape for a theater school somewhere cold. I just remember it was cold, but he was like, it's going to be a great school for you. And I was like, okay, let's try it. And the tape never made it. This was before internet. Like I could just upload everything and it never made it. And I was like, what? So I just didn't audition for that place. And I didn't even try again because it was like past the date. So I was like, okay, well, I know I got into George Mason. Let me go. And I was like, let me try and audition for their program. So I was already learning that you got to roll with the punches and try to figure out something else, you know, to the place you want to go. Do you feel like it was like
a guiding hand to like kind of be like, maybe not? That's not the place for you. Like for it not to get there, and like God being like, we gonna go this way.
Yeah, I think that was it because even now, I stopped doing theater for a bit because it just didn't feel like my ministry. I was like, it's fun. And I think that it comes a bit easy to me, but I'm not fully fulfilled. And so, yeah, maybe. So me being in just a musical theater program, I don't know how that would have felt. If, you know, so yeah.
It would have been interesting. Like, go this way. She's like, I came to this cold place to do something that does not fulfill me. It seems like, it was like, not the right direction. It may look nice and cute at the surface, but deep down, like, this is not going to challenge you enough to become the person you were meant to become.
Yes. Oh, yeah. life definitely challenged me when I got out of college. And, but okay, so I went to New York and, you know, working as a server and going and auditioning and stuff. And I was working at a theater in North Carolina a lot. So I was just coming back to North Carolina. And I think that was really nice for me because New York is a place that really will spit you out, like chew you up and spit you out. And my sister always says, like, you have to ask New York to stay. Or otherwise you really will get booted without your consent. You know? And so it's really interesting. You have to find your place in the city and you have to learn the ways to stay protected, or you can, like, I don't know, just fall under the pressure of trying to keep up with the hustle.
Yeah, kind of get stuck in the pretending, right? Like, because that's how people get really deep into the craziness of New York and all that. And they lose themselves, so you can really lose yourself in all the hustle and bustle of it.
Yeah, because you're trying to be something there. And it's like, okay, well, you can explore different parts of you there. I think that I learned a lot about myself, but you don't have to do everything you think you need to like make it. That's you. Yeah. But so I went there and I was like performing, and I was finally getting over the hump of being afraid to like go to auditions for like Broadway auditions and stuff, and putting myself out there in a different way. And things were going well. I was like hosting little things, meeting more artist communities, and it was fun. And then the pandemic happened. And so I was like, oh, and when everything, you know, just kind of shuts down, like I couldn't perform. I lost contracts. I lost my job because it was a serving job at a comedy club. It's like, we can't serve nobody in this sickness. So it was just like, dang, I'm really starting over. What do I do? And so I got I'm saying the right thing. I'm supposed to be saying all like my life, right?
Yes.
I'm just taking a pause. I was like, I've been talking for a long time.
She pauses in the middle. Hold up. Are we on the right?
Gina, oh my goodness. I'm so silly. So just wanted to make sure. You can edit it. You can edit it.
On track.
So I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? And I got a temp job. I was working temp jobs throughout, and they were like, oh, we're looking for people. And so I got this job working at a healthcare company, and just throughout 4 years, I blossomed into this like executive role. Wow. I like started from like just being on the phones, calling people, trying to get them to consent to our services, to working in HR and being a culture and purpose coach. And I was working with like trying to help with engagement. I was doing employee experience surveys and just learning a lot. And I felt like a boss lady. I'm just like, oh, look at me on my little laptop. And then talking to people. I was running new hire orientation. And that was nice because I like to welcome people. I got to use my little theater flair and like put on a show. That's what it felt like. And then I also got to do make flyers and promotions. And that was fun. So I still got to have my creative edge there. So it didn't just feel like a stuffy corporate job. And it was for a good mission because the company was they were helping people who were on Medicaid and Medicare and giving them wraparound care. So they got an RN, they got different services. They would help them with social determinants of health, like different health isn't just about like eating well. It's also about your environment too. And so this company knew that. And so they would help you like, oh, you have food insecurities. We need to get you food. Oh, you don't have a safe place to live. Let's get you a roof over your head. And all of those things combined make good health for one person. And so it was a good mission, and we were part of that. And so they went through some reorganizations. So I'm no longer with the company. And so now it feels like the pandemic again, where I'm like, wow, what can I do? What am I going to do? So I'm at a very interesting place where I have some important choices to make so I can get on a path to where I want to be. So once again, that thing finds you. It's like that thing in life finds you where you have to pivot. And you can still have a goal in the background. It's like, okay, I can't go this way. So how do I go this way to get back there? You know? And so I'm there now, and it's very interesting. And I'm like, okay, Sha, what's next? I'm looking at me like in the mirror, like, what you gonna do?
Hello.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So, but I'm thankful for the time because I needed a break. Yeah. I am so thankful that I got the summertime to just sit there like this and relax, because I do give my all when I'm doing things. And sometimes I have to pause to remember, did you get 8 hours? Yeah. Like, have you been sleeping? Have you turned your brain off? Are you taking care of yourself? Yeah. And I don't think that I was doing that in the best way. So I needed the break. I needed the break to like come back to myself and stretch and take a nap. Like I took a nap before this, Gina. That's why I was like,
yes, girl. Yes.
I took a nap. So
yes, take that nap.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at.
At my lunchtime when I work from home. So I
work from home was the best thing ever created. Yes. I can't wait for another work from home job. So if anyone is listening and I need a job.
I don't know about that yet. Like they're talking about like taking like 30% away from like people who work remotely because you don't actually work in the office. So,
but I do full work. I do 100% work.
I said, look, I said the same thing, girl. Look, they're like, if it's like over 20% or like full, like we might be taking 30% away. And I'm like, look, I can't afford to live here without that 30%. So I'm gonna need you to stop playing. Okay,
I'm gonna need you to stop playing right now.
Keep it up. We're not taking it away. No, we're not doing that. I signed the contract, and my thing says what it says.
Right. I already signed the paperwork.
I'm suing people. Be like that mother that was suing the vet.
Girl, just like that mother. Go ahead, sue him. I'm a cat, and you need to know how to fix me.
You need to know how to fix my human body. I'm done. I'm so done.
So silly.
This is
what? But I'm going to find a company that's going to give me 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And Europe right now is doing 4-day work weeks.
Yes.
And the numbers have been showing that it is positive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Yeah. So take me back a little bit. To the shift between music to healthcare. Like, how was that? Like, how did you get your mind ready to be like, I was doing this. I was going into theater. This was my path. And now all of a sudden I have to do this and figure out how to do this without people around me because it's COVID and I have to meet new people and I got to make new friends that don't understand me. So how was that for you?
Man, that's a really great question. That's something that I've been making notes about because I think that people I know want to make that transition too. They're like, I want to take a break from the arts and I want to make some money. So how do I make the transition? Yeah. And throughout my time there, I had to learn how to speak like them. I had to learn the jargon, but also it doesn't mean that I had to fully change who I was to like fit in or whatever. And that kind of goes with the military thing. I was like, I only know how to be myself. I've tried to be other people. Yeah. I shine through. There is no way that I cannot be Sha'Air Hawkins. No matter what I do.
Wherever you want and be like, I'm going to be emo here. I'm going to be the popular girl here. I'm going to be the athlete. At the end of the day, the true you will always come out.
Exactly. So I learned, I watched and I asked questions. And this was a place that supported asking questions. We would tell people that in new hire orientation all the time. It was like, if you have any questions, if you need any help, if you need help like getting acclimated to this culture, like let us know. And that's what I was. I was a culture and purpose coach. So like when people came on, we tried to help them understand what the vibe was there so they could get in and fit in, you know what I mean? Yeah. And not feel left out. And
you know what's crazy about that? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, it's okay. We talking.
Culture and purpose, right? You literally lived in a military culture around international kids and people. And then you lived in a community or a organization that had a singular purpose already. So it seems like you were already set up for that job. Like you just had to learn the basics and then get to that point. And like you were the best person for that job because your life literally just set you up to have it. So I think that's so interesting that you like moved right into that after everything.
Oh, wow. Gina, that really makes me feel good because I never realized that. Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah. Because you know every personality. You've experienced every personality through the life you lived. And then the purpose is simple and easy because the military had one purpose, the mission. And when you know the mission, you can simply give it to others. And because you already knew that mentality and how to get into it, it sounds like they saw that in you. It's like, oh, she got this. It's her.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The lady who gave me the role, because it was a brand new role, they kind of like made it up.
Made for you.
Yeah, it was made. Oh, Gina.
Sorry, I'm about to spill my water over here. It was made for you.
No. Oh, that's really sweet. That makes me feel really good because I remember asking her, I was like, how do I get prepared for this role? Like, what do I need to know? Like, I was a facilitator. Like, I would facilitate different workshops and different learning sessions for the people at the job, at the company. And then I got this role and I was like, what is it going to be? And she was like, I want you to be yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you came in, you were so different and animated and welcoming. And we needed that to kind of shake up the company because it really was like, a lot of very intelligent people, but everybody doesn't know how to always talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like not as social. And you know what's interesting? This also connects to high school because I was in student government. So there were a lot of times where I had to, like, we're going to wrangle the troops. Or like, this is how we do things. And I was a cheerleader at one point. It's like, we got to rally the troops. We got to like, hey, y'all, get excited, you know? And there was one time I was in a kids leadership weekend thing. They chose different kids from different schools and we got to go to this weekend thing and we had to talk about what military kids needed when they lived in Europe. And we were actually able to help kids get a second flight home. Remember they gave kids 2 flights or like 1 flight back to the States for the summer or something. And we were able to get them 2.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I didn't get 1, so I'm just I'm wondering where my 1 was because my mom paid for my ticket.
Where was your 1 at?
My mom paid for my ticket. I guess because she was a civilian. She retired early. I mean, she retired in 2005. So they might have been only like military personnel, which is crazy because, I mean, if she's over there has a job, I should also, but whatever. It's
you should get all the full benefits. Okay, I'm going to go back over there. Let me tell them.
Let them know.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, we went to...
Oh, okay. But I don't remember what the program was, but I went to this weekend thing and they were asking us, what do military kids need? And we were like, we trying to go home. Yeah. Or we're like, we want the option to make it not hard on our families to where we can see the rest of our families or we can go to the States, you know, sometimes you miss it. Or some people aren't acclimating as well to Europe. So like they want to go home. So I'm so used to welcoming people, trying to talk to others and help them solve a problem and letting people know that it's okay to be here and to be different and be like, okay, let's figure out how you can enmesh yourself into this culture, but also keep being yourself. Yeah. And that is something I had to learn in that corporate space too. Cause I was like, I'm an artist. I don't know how to talk like y'all. I don't know what these SOPs and DWIs and whatevers are. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I know how to memorize. I know how to smile and I know how to make people feel comfortable so I can learn. So that's what I had to do. I just had to do a lot of research and a lot of watching and asking a lot of questions. I'm at the point where I'm not afraid. No, it's like I'm at the point where I'm learning to ask for help. And in that scenario, I had to ask for a lot of help.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the strong Black woman definitely hits it's hard for us to ask for help?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And like, it's like the strong Black woman. And then if you're in a place where everybody seems like they know what they're doing, you're afraid to ask. Yeah. And it's like, wait, how do y'all know? What y'all doing over there? Like, you know, like you need an ally in that to be like, oh, we don't know. We're just messing around. I was like, oh, you're throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. Yeah. Oh, okay. And also once I learned that too, because a lot of people are doing that, I'm like, okay, well, I can try things now. I can relax and just give it a go and to see what happens. And it always turned out well. Or they'd be like, oh, just tweak this and do that, you know? Yeah. So, but I would say I haven't been okay, so talking about the angry Black woman thing,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that through my life, I have been even more jolly and kind to try to offset that. And I was like, you don't have to worry about me being angry, but Gina, there's so much to be angry about.
There is.
And I grew up with a temper. And I was like, I'm not holding that mess in anymore. Yeah. And also, we have the right to be mad.
Yeah.
F that. Yeah. F all of that.
Yeah.
That's something you're placing on me because y'all can't hold any accountability for the oppression.
Yeah. It's so crazy to think because that's kind of how I came into my new job, where it's like, because we talk about like crazy stuff. Like at my job at lunchtime, one of our coworkers asks us questions, and he asked us this question like if you came with like one warning sign, what it would be? I was like, resting B face, right? I was like, resting B face for real. Completely. It's not on purpose. It's just I don't smile all the time. So if I am smiling, if I am laughing, that's earned. Like that's real stuff. Okay, it's not fake. But when you come into a place, you kind of have to like in some ways put on the act. And I think for me in high school, there would be times where like I was acting as Gina. Like this is who I am. Like I was put in this box. I didn't mind the box. I'm the athlete. Cool, let's stay in this box, right? And then I graduated high school. And I had no idea who I was because I wasn't playing basketball at the time after I graduated high school. So who am I outside of this box that I let everybody put me in? And I had to figure that out. And it involved angry feelings about life, but not knowing how to deal with them because we're taught, can't show that. Or you might not get the job or get the play or be on the team or whatever it may be. And so, yeah, it's a struggle to have to act jolly all the time. I understand that. Yeah.
Well, I learned I got burnt out with that quickly. So,
Girl.
like that's tiring too. You have to take the mask off and be okay with the response. And I know that that's not easy for everybody because their mask may be protecting them in a way that I don't understand, but that's why we have our communities. That's why we learn discernment about who we can show and who we can't.
Yeah.
But, and also sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm showing y'all my real face today. I'm not happy. I'm gonna be in a meeting like this.
Straight face.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me. I'm tired today. Like that's it. Like I can't say to people. Like I'm telling you, people be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm just really tired today. Please, like,
yeah." And I don't feel like smiling.
That's it. There's nothing wrong with me. I just don't feel like smiling. And when you get a smile from me, know it's genuine. It's not a fake smile.
Right.
It's genuine. Yes, there'll be times where I'm just like, oh yeah, but you can tell. You will be able to tell the difference where it's like, oh yeah, she don't want to be bothered today.
Yeah.
just no. Like, there's something.
I was like, oh, okay. Okay, have a good day, Gina.
Yeah. What you looking at?
Yeah. No, but for real. And
it's true.
We got to be okay with that too. I think that I grew up wanting to please and be accepted, and everybody ain't gonna accept me. I accept me. I love me. I love hanging out with me so much. I do it right now.
That's awesome.
Right. Like it's okay. And it's okay that everybody isn't satisfied with how you show up today. And that's just what it's going to be. And when I had a very visible job when I was at the corporate spot. So like there were some days I'm like, dang, I gotta be hyped. Like let me get myself together. Yep. But then when that'd be an orientation. But then when we have like a team meeting, they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just ran an orientation. I'm tired. I don't feel like laughing today. I ain't got to laugh with y'all. Y'all know who I am, So like, and that's it. I'm not putting on a show. I don't have to put on a show for everybody. I can put on a show when I feel like it or when I'm actually on a stage. So like those tropes and things, I think there was a point where I was battling with them, going back and forth and trying to tell everybody, hey, I'm a safe Black woman, whatever. Yeah. I'm like, fuck that. Okay, I had to curse on that. Fuck that. I am multifaceted, and today I don't feel like talking or laughing. Yeah. But tomorrow I might. Or if you actually say something funny, then I'll laugh. But I'm not gonna give you some little fake ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's very interesting. You found your balance, right?
Yeah. Hey guys, we are on air. I know, right? So cool to have this. But I interrupt this podcast to ask you guys to please follow us on all of our social media sites. We have Instagram, YouTube, the podcast on anywhere you get your podcast. And please share and like this episode and comment if this episode has affected you in any way. Because the more you comment, the more you like, the more you share, the more people we reach. And the more people we reach means the more the story of mental health and military brats change. So please go and follow us on all of these websites, and please share it with whoever and whomever you believe these stories will help change. Because I know that all of these stories thus far has already helped change my life. So again, I thank you guys for watching. And please like, share, comment, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Yeah, definitely. Like there's days where like I come in and I'm just kind of just like quiet, and people are like, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just like, I'm not as talkative, and I don't really, and that's always been me though. Like there's times like I'll be in the middle of. I remember one time it was like my mom's birthday, her 60th birthday, and our family was there, and I was enjoying myself, and then I got tired. And I just shut down and like all my cousins are looking at me like, "You good?" I was like, "I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done socializing. Yeah. My social media is kapoots. I'm ready to go to bed." And my mom looked at me and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I have to work tomorrow, so y'all have a good night." Yeah. And I strolled on upstairs after a little while. I was just like, and they were looking at me because I started cleaning up. You know how you just kind of do that? You're like, well, don't really clean up. So I'm just going to clean up the house. And now Gina's ready for people to leave. I was like, that's not it. I was just like,
I need something quiet to do over here.
Exactly. I was like, washing the dishes kind of just helps my brain calm down after like a whole bunch of stuff. To be honest with you, I told my mom, because when she came to help me move in, and I got really quiet. She's like, you need to talk. You always do that. I was like, Mom, I don't know why I do that. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I have autism or ADHD. I have no idea. I might have it. But I just, after a long day, I shut down and I don't talk. And if I have to make another decision, it's not easy for me because I've used all day to make other decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't want to make another decision today. Let's try again tomorrow.
Right. We'll try in the morning.
But not her. She's like, come on. I'm like, come on. I can't make another decision today. I'm sorry. But it's just not happening. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I think for me, I've really been looking into like the way the brain works and different things like that, because I do want to understand my brain, and I do want to know if it's just me or if it's something else that's like happening chemically, and I need to figure that out because life is already hard enough. I do not need to make it harder by not taking care of myself to the best of the ability if I don't have all the information,
Yes. Oh my gosh, Gina. Yes, I'm doing that now. So you before we started the podcast, you talked about like mental health, and I'm in a space right now where, although I can show up very happily and I have a lot of gratitude for life, but I don't feel as confident as I used to. And I wonder what that is. I know I'm going through a lot of life transitions right now, and like financial security is scary. Yeah. And so that can make you feel like you don't have a lot of power, but that's specifically buying power. Yeah. And having resources is very helpful. Yeah. So that can make your foundation shaky, but it feels deeper than that too. And I'm like, why am I feeling so off? And I've been doing a lot of research this year about like executive functioning. And that means just like doing things that are more helpful for your brain when you're trying to remember things, or you're just trying to like have a to-do list. Like you got to write it this way, or like, you know, or categorize it this way. Yeah. And I've been trying to figure out how to protect my energy more, because I'm like you, like, there's a point where I have to like not have any stimulation. It's funny, living alone, I have the quietest house. There's usually nothing on. I can work in silence. And I was like, I didn't know that, because when I was at home, everything is bustling. My mom and my grandma, and my sister, we're all like loud and laughing and stuff. And there's TVs on and stuff. But when I live alone, I was like, oh, I don't like any stimulation. Because it feels like a lot to my brain. Yeah. So I am in a place where I'm doing a lot of research, and hopefully I can find an inexpensive therapist to help me kind of collect these thoughts and understand what I need to just be at optimal health and optimal brain space. Because everything feels like a lot. Yeah. And I was like, I've never felt like that before. But I also think, you know, it's funny going through life and remembering things from the past. I was so busy, Gina. I was like, you know, if you're doing a sport, and then I was doing community theater, you had a job. Yep. Didn't you have a job?
Yeah.
Were you bagging?
Yeah, no, I was at the movie theater at 16. My mom was like, you are not getting money from me anymore. You need to get a job. She was like, get a job. You use all your freaking minutes in like 5 seconds. If you want more minutes, get up and go get more. Kids will learn that nowadays. Kids, to all my people who are, I don't know, 20. I know, like, you guys are in your 20s now. Like, good Lord, I don't know, 20. I mean, I'm in my 20s, but, you know, it's later on.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. Teens. Yeah, teens. Yeah, y'all don't know the struggle. Y'all don't know the struggle of, like, waiting until after a certain time to have to text friends for free. Or sitting there in class and you're trying to text a friend, but it says, you're out of minutes. You need to buy more. That's the text message that comes through.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'd be like, dang.
Or the flip phones. I remember when the first flip phone came out.
Yo,
I had my razor.
Funny? My mom gave me her old razor, and it was pink, and I was like,
that's what mine
thinking
was.
I'm cool.
My godparents, like, you remember Saint Nick overseas, like Saint Nicola. They would do like, you leave your shoe out. My mom was like, leave your shoe out tonight. Leave it outside the door. So I was like, what? Okay, whatever. Like, I left it outside the front door. I'm like 14. I'm like, whatever. Okay. And then like I wake up in the morning. She's like, go look at your shoe. And my godparents had come the night before, put the phone in the shoe. They bought me the phone. And she said, this is another thing. She said, this is the first thing I've ever seen you get excited about. Because I'm not that kid. Right. I was never that kid. I don't get excited about presents. I never have. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. Every other kid would get excited. And you just be like, thanks.
Gina.
I'm telling you, I need to go to the doctor. I know I do.
You be at Christmas, thanks.
Like, and people tell me all the time, they're like, you have no emotion. I'm like, I do. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, and I think that is another reason why I'm so dramatic, because I've always been told I don't have enough emotion. I don't show enough emotion. Like, if I'm saying something, people be like, do you really feel that? I'm like, yeah. Like, what else do you want me to do? Like, do I need to scream it? And so, like, I've learned how to say things to make people feel the emotion. And it's, it's so hard, because sometimes you don't feel like you want to do that. Sometimes you just want to be like, yo, no, I don't want to do that today. And that's it. Yeah. Nothing else. And it's like, so yeah, I had to learn, I don't know. And somebody's going to be like, she's psycho. Like, she just.
Because you just even killed.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've never been that kid to get excited about anything like that. Like, I used to love traveling and stuff. Like, that's my thing. I think for me, it's more experience. I don't get excited about those things. But even then, like, I have to act more because my emotions aren't as like everybody else. And I've always felt like, even though I was in the in crowd, I still felt like I was a part of the out, like I was an out crowd, which is kind of weird. Just because sometimes I would have to play up my emotions about how I felt about things. Wow, we got way too deep in myself. Sorry.
I know. That's how we do. That's how we do.
Yeah, but like I don't know if you felt like that before, because I know when you came to Shape, like you were just completely yourself, you know. And but I don't know if you've ever felt like you had to play up an emotion because people didn't believe you, or you had to play up something in life so that you could get your way or something like that.
I would say when I came to in college, like, that's funny. They would call me Belgium. Or they would call me North Carolina, because they were like, why are you country? But you're from Belgium? And they were like, is that in Germany? And I'm like,
no,
what?
It's not Berlin.
Right. And it's right. No, it's not in Germany.
It's so weird. Like, they're like, isn't that where the wall is? Bruh, you really don't know World War II?
What?
Are we really going to act like World War II did not just kill all of the world and we don't need to know about that?
Oh, my goodness. People, the states, the education.
Yes.
Anyway.
We go. That's another conversation for another day.
I know. I'm just thankful that we were able to go to Belgium.
Yes.
Its own country.
Was amazing.
Sovereign nation.
Yes. A sovereign nation, yes. It's a beautiful nation and it's easy to travel from. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel like in college, like you, after I stopped doing track, and I had been doing track for so many years, I got on the track team and that was cool. And I was like, oh, who am I? Who am I? You know, or who do I want to be? I have the opportunity to choose. And of course I chose artist, but I do think that like there was a part of me that wanted to have that same experience that I had in high school. And I was like, it was such a close knit community and people wanted to support me and they knew me. So they're like, yeah, what do you need? What do you need? Yeah. And like, let's put you on the grand stage. So being in college, I was like, okay, how do I get there? How do I like talk to those people? They look cool. Like, what do I do? And I feel like it was not a failure, but it was like, girl, you cannot hide. You can put on different clothes or change your hair, but you are goofy and you're probably going to trip when you walk in there and you're going to laugh about it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You make jokes, you're going to say something silly and everybody's going to have a good time and you're going to dance and you're going to sweat out your hair. Like, but people over there, they want to be cool and just chill in the corner and like look cute. And I was like, I can't do that. That's not fun for me. I want to come here and have fun. And so there was a time where I was trying to be in an it crowd, especially like in DC. Mm-hmm. And there was a DJ I knew and she was really cool and down to earth. And I was trying to get more photography gigs. She was like, come to the club with me. And this was a club where everybody dressed up, like celebrities would go there and all this stuff. And she was like, you can take pictures. And so one night I really dressed up for the part. And one of the managers was like, oh, yeah, you got to come back. Yeah. And the next time I came back, I was dressed as Sha'Air and my hair was short like this. And it was like curly. And they were like, the dude even said it. He was like, you look so different. And I was like, you saying that with a little weirdness in your voice. I don't like that, you know? And then I didn't get invited back. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't look the part for this space. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well then this is not the space for me then. And at first I was like upset. And there were a couple of other encounters in college where people would come in to my space and say like, oh, you don't look the part. And I was like, that's your part. And I had to realize later, it was like, that's the part you want me to play. I can only be me. And I like being me and it's fun and y'all aren't even having fun. Like whenever I see somebody trying to be in a certain space and I'm like, are y'all having fun though? No, I don't want to be over there.
Get away from me.
Yeah. Or it got to be beneficial. Like even when people do things to get to a certain space or to a certain, height in their career or whatever. And it was like, okay, I got to do this to do this. And I was like, but doesn't that go against your morals? And doesn't it go against every fiber in your being? Doesn't it feel weird inside? If it's saying that ain't it. Yeah. There's got to be another path. And I've been there and I was like, oh, this ain't my place. It's time to go, you know? And I think that comes with really being honest with yourself. that's one of the things I would add. Going back to the beginning, to the 18-year-olds, be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that if I was way honest with myself earlier, then I could have been maybe even further along in my career. Or like, I've always wanted to go to music school. Why didn't I just apply again? Yeah. Why didn't I try somewhere else? But I was having a good time, and I really loved my 4 years. Like, I learned a lot, and I got friends that I'll forever be there. Mm-hmm. I learned so many skills. So I don't take it for granted, but like, you got to really be honest with yourself about who you are and what you need and why you want to do things. I forgot what the question was, but I think I answered that.
Because I was just asking, like, if you had to ever pretend to be something or pretend to do something, and you did, like, you said. First, I'm going to pause real quick. I do have to pee. So
okay, go on. That's fine. Okay, I'll take one too. My head.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Yay.
If it's not your will, just please tell me no. No. Can you already did? It's a no. Lord, if it's not your
Okay.
Okay, back from our break that nobody's going to know about.
That was a sponsored break.
Yeah, that's one day.
One day.
No, what was I about to ask? Oh, I was about to ask because you said that you like kind of wish that you could have applied for another music school. Do you think that you're afraid of that rejection, possibly, like of like your dreams being rejected because you've been doing this your whole life and everybody around you have told you like this is your purpose, and now here you are about to go apply to a school that nobody knows you. They don't know who you are, your personality. They've never really seen you perform in person before. Were you afraid of that rejection of the unknown, of somebody not knowing who you are and the possibility of who you could be and all the heart that you had in it? Were you afraid that they were going to reject that part of you and everything that you work for?
Well, it actually did happen when I tried to apply to the music program at my college. I think that I have been afraid. Rejection used to be something very big on my list of fears or something I tried to prevent for myself. And now I think when I think back to it, it was like, it was more of, I'm afraid of making the wrong choice and having to deal with the consequences and them being long. And I'm like, okay, well, And then I was afraid of the consequences of making a wrong choice, and then of not succeeding. Like I came from succeeding so much, and I worked so hard to like be a good student, to get awards, to like perform well just in everything that I chose to do. And I was afraid of not keeping that up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, so if I go to music school and then nothing happens, what do I do from there? I'm supposed to be succeeding. I'm supposed to go to college and then get a job, you know? And I think what haunts me now is still being afraid of the consequences of not making the right choice. And that's kind of like plaguing me now, because I'm like, well, now I'm not making any choice, and that's definitely not the right choice.
Yeah.
I'm having that decision fatigue, you know, but it's on a grand scale. And it's like, that's not how we do things. That's not how you succeed, by doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's not how we win. So, I realize that I have to taste the fire, or I have to put my hand on the stove to see if it's hot. That's how I live my life. I try things out. If it doesn't work, I learned something and I move on. Yeah. And there's a piece of me, well, remember I was telling you I wasn't feeling confident. It's like, oh, I used to feel so much more brave. Yeah. And where did that go? And I was like, does it come with age, or I'm afraid to take I'm afraid to take more risks, or like, what is that? So, that's something that I'm dealing with now, which is really interesting. And I think it could just be a lull in my life, or one of those mental health or spiritual things that I'm just changing. I'm in like a transitional space as a grown woman. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Because I was just talking to my sister. I was like, one thing I really want to do is compose music for films. Gina, I make music all the time. Like, I have a notes app of like 500 songs of just things that I come up with in my head. And so I was like, what do I do with that? I want to do something. So I've been thinking about going to grad school so I can compose music for films. I think that would make me so happy.
Yeah,
I do it already.
Hey, look, if you want to compose a song for Stories of a Dandelion, and we can play it at the beginning and at the end and throughout, I would love to have your song as our intro and our outro. So,
oh my gosh, gee, okay, tell me the vibe. Send me a text, send me a message of your vibe. I would love to do that. There was one time my dad was doing some radio show, and I made like an intro for their radio show. So, like, yeah, I would love to do this.
See. I be trying to get everybody like intertwined into my podcast. Like, I love it. Like, I get to reconnect with all of you guys and like have this new relationship that we couldn't have back then. I don't think we knew how to have these conversations back then and learn about each other more and deeper. Like, we were all very surface level. I mean, even with my best friends, like, I didn't know, half the things. I knew like they were born here and there and they traveled, but I didn't know other things that happened in their childhood. So it's like, oh, there is more to us that we didn't talk about, or that we hid from each other because we were kids, or we didn't know how to talk about it. So, yeah.
Right. It's really beautiful that you've been able to connect with everybody. Like, Gina, I haven't seen you in years.
I know.
It's really special. It's really, it's really amazing. I'm glad to see you're doing well. This is like bringing me so much joy.
Yes.
I know we're not at the end, but like that, thank you for asking me to be a part of this.
I've been wanting to ask you for a while. I was like, oh, you know how you're like nervous? Like, that's how I am with every single person I ask. I'm just like, I'm so nervous they're going to reject me. And if they reject me, it's okay. Like, I trust me and believe me. This show has helped me with rejection in so many different ways. Where it's just like, I understand, because, not everybody can share their story or feel like, they have something to share. I'm like, I completely understand. And it's also like me just kind of reaching out randomly. And it's like, oh, you haven't talked to me in years. Like, now you want to reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what goes on my head. And so I'm like, they may not be thinking that. So just kind of, have to deal with that. And
how have you been getting through that? Because you asked me a question about rejection.
I think college definitely prepared. College was not the best for me. And it was kind of the first time where I didn't feel completely accepted in certain ways as my full self. And so I had to learn how to distinguish different things and learn how to be who I was while also going to class and still doing everything I was doing, how to be me without my mom, really, because it was me and my mom against the world for so long.
Right.
And, I moved back to the States, trying to develop a relationship with my dad, and all that good stuff. So it honestly, college did that for me, where it was like, okay, not everybody's going to like you, because in high school, I'm pretty sure there's people that didn't like me, but nobody told me. But you get to college, ain't nobody know you, and they know they don't like you. They just don't talk to you. They don't interact with you. So it's like, oh, okay. It's cool. Like, you don't have to like me. That's fine. I just had to learn how to accept it and be like, all right, it's cool. So I think it's one of those things of that tough time, that tough transition in college, and knowing that if I got through college of that craziness, I was in like the darkest of dark times in my college career, and if I can get through that, I can get through anything. It's kind of like one of those things, like I was gonna tell you, a bad choice can lead you to your next good one. And so for me, as much as I've learned from Methodist University, the friends I made from Methodist University, amazing people, love them, still friends with a couple of them now that I love to death, and I couldn't imagine my life without them.
Yeah.
I can see how that one bad decision led to good decisions after, where it was like, okay, this is the person I am. I am stronger than I think I am. I can make friends that are outside of my normal way of making friends. So it's kind of one of those things, and it kind of propelled me into the next. And as you were saying, like, as we get older, we're scared to take risks, right? And so I had a 6-month period, kind of like you, going through transition recently, where I didn't have a job. And I was scared to come out to Texas. I was like, Texas? And I was like, but Gina, you remember when you were 18 and you were so excited to move back to the States and you had no care in the world and you were naive as balls? Do you remember that girl? And that's what God said. And God was like, yeah, you remember that girl? Yeah, you're not that girl anymore, but you get to go into this next chapter with more experience, with a foundation of knowing, oh, this is what I need to do, not this. Here's a pillar here, here's a pillar there, So I came into this with open eyes and a heart like I did when I was 18, but knowing and having boundaries of what needs to be done and who to be around. So it was really eye-opening in that way, of rejection and stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad you made it through.
Yeah.
Through all of that. And you said something so important. Is like, it's just because you're different now doesn't mean that spirit isn't still inside you. Like, it's there. It was there then, so you could pull it back out. It might just be a little bit deeper layers, but like that bravery, that excitement for something new, that adventurous spirit is still there. So I was talking to my sister today, and she was like, girl, you are so confident and talented. It's there. We've seen you do amazing things, so you can do them again.
Yep.
It's buried. Just take it out, pull it out the drawer. So I'm glad that you said that, because man, this really came at the right time, Gina, like this talk, because it's having me reflect on things I've already been through. It's showing me that hurdles, they come and go, but we get over them. Like, we learn how to jump over them, or we know how to problem solve. We have the skills. So it's like jumping in again and trusting that you can do it. Yep. And we have intuition, and we got faith. Like, it's okay. Yeah. It's shaky. It's a little what? But
standing on the tightrope sometimes, but God got you every single time. It's just, so you gotta take the first step, and I just knew it. I was like, it's time to get out of the house. It's time to get out of the house, because I was doing nothing. I was, I would go visit friends and stuff and family members and all that, but it was like, I have to prove to myself that I can do this on my own. Right? Yeah. Like, my parents gave me all this stuff, and I do appreciate the time I spent longer with my mom, because I've had friends who lost their moms and, went to their funerals, and it just makes you appreciate the people that are around you so much more. And so, like, people be like, aren't you ready to move out of your mom's house? Yes. But I appreciate the time that I get with her every single day, that I get to wake up and my mom's downstairs and we have a fight one day. And then the next day, you know, we're over it and we're laughing over something again. You know, like, it's just when she gets older, I can say, and when she's, you know, older, I'm going to say when she's 100 and something, she's dead and gone, because that's what's going to happen.
Right.
I can say I spent as much time as I could with my mom, and nothing stopped me from doing that, you know? And I don't know if everybody can say that, and I don't want to be one of those people not to. And this kind of has to do with my dad as well. Like, restoring that was so important to me, because now with that relationship, it's like I can't imagine myself without my dad in my life and the relationship we have. So it's relationships at the end of the day are what's important. And I think when we were 18, we're like, oh, I got this. I'm good. But we didn't realize the community that we had growing up that supported us, you know. But I think it's wanting to prove to that community that you can do it, right?
Right.
And do it on your own. But learning that it's impossible. You can't. You got to have other people around you. So I'm glad you have your sister and your mom to always like remind you of your greatness, because you are great, girl. You used to sing and be like, yes, it's great. That's how we used to be, like, okay, all right. And people be like, because I had Scott on, and Scott used to be like, yo, man, Sha'Air used to sing everywhere. Like, I would try, but Sha'Air got every single national anthem.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully I just paved the way for Scott to sing some more.
When he moved, though, he did sing, and he like tried out for American Idol and stuff. And it was so interesting to hear his story. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go watch it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he mentions you in his.
Kind.
Yeah, he mentions you in his. It was so funny. He's like, yeah, Sha'Air she was the one. She was it. And I was like, you're right. It was that greatness, man. And so it's good that you have the reminder around you that whatever is next in your life, you're going to be great in it. You're going to succeed. I mean, like, you literally shifted from music to healthcare. Like, how different can that? And you thrived. You literally thrived all the way to the top. So whatever you do next, girl, you're gonna kill it. I'm gonna be like, I know that girl. Yes, I know her. That's my friend. That's my big sister.
That's my sis.
I'm be at a movie theater. I'm like, yes, I know her. That's the only reason I came to watch this movie. The movie had no context.
That is so funny.
It was the music.
I just came to take the picture. I'm gonna watch this at home, but that's my girl.
You're the next Shonda Rhimes, girl. You're the next Shonda Rhimes. You know how Shonda Rhimes is a writer, and now everybody know her name. Like, she famous. You gonna be the next one?
Right.
Like, oh, she composes music. Oh, really? I thought she was the actress. Oh, she's both. Okay, she's both.
In my own film.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Gina. I received that. I received it.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming. But yeah, you needed a time to take a break and, figure yourself out. And I understand that. You know, those 6 months, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
But I had to lean on faith and lean on God and be like, you're going to get me through it. And you're going to find a job for me.
Exactly.
And he'll do the same. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The possibilities are endless, and this ain't the end of my life.
Oh, not at all.
Like, it's not. So
the beginning of the
I'll
new
be okay.
chapter. I'm so excited to see where it goes.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. Gina, this is so cool. What were you going to say?
I was going to say we're getting all sentimental over here.
Well, I know.
Guys, Black women get sentimental too.
We do.
We do.
One thing that's been really special has been seeing how my Black woman friendships have grown. Like, I actually wrote that as a goal one year. I was like, I want more Black women friends. And I was like, I need to be surrounded by them. And it really has transformed my life, how I feel about myself. Oh, so when I was living in New York, the last part of the city that I lived in was Brooklyn, but I was in, gosh, now I can't think about it. But I was near Brooklyn College, and that was around a lot of Caribbean and Haitian folk. Oh. So when I would step outside my door, I would just see me everywhere. Like me, my cousins, my mom, my grandmas, like my uncles. That's who I saw. It was me. So I was like, dang, I felt so beautiful because it was like looking in a mirror and looking at pictures of my family every day. And so like when I was asking for more Black women friends, it was like, yeah, I needed a mirror and I needed to pour into people and people pour into me and to just be understood in a way that just you don't always get understood. So yeah, we can be sentimental. We can be so many things. Yeah. And it's great to have a place to take that shield off and to take that skin layer off. Yes. So yeah, absolutely. This is great. This is great.
Yes, it's amazing. It's awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to reconnect with you and like have this conversation with you. Let's get it back to you now. So,
okay,
how are you? Because keep it on you. How are you doing right now? Like, how are you building your mental health? How are you building that foundation? How are you trying to reconnect with that 18-year-old you who was like, oh, we about to go out here and pop and like, we gonna kill it. So how are you trying to reconnect with that girl that you were and introduce her to who you are now and incorporate her into your life?
Oh my gosh, Gina, that's a great question. So the first thing I'm doing is reigniting my passions. So this year, because I have been feeling different or in that like limbo space, I was like, oh, I need to go back to what brings me joy. So, and I was like, what does that do? It's like, of course, that's being creative, but like, is there anything specifically? So it's like, is that making music? Is that finding community? So this year I really made it a goal to find other people to collaborate with. So I'm a songwriter, but I want to write music for others because sometimes I'll make a song and I'm like, this is not my voice, but it's a great song. So who could it be for? And I was like, oh, I need to collaborate with other musicians. One, because that'll build my skill up and in just how I make music and I could learn something new from someone else. And then two, once you meet with people, that's really how you get other things. They're like, I like you and you're kind to me, so I want you to meet this other person. Yeah. And then they're like, you know what? You're great for this. You need to meet this other person. Yeah. And that's how community really helps each other. So that's something that brings me back to that 18-year-old self. Like we were talking about, it was a small community and we got a lot of support. I got a lot of support from people to be successful and opportunities. Yeah. So I was like, let me find my community. And so I've just been going out to like karaoke. Nice. And that's been fun. It's been super fun. This year, it didn't come to fruition, but I was a part of a community-led women's jazz festival. And it was a lot of older women who are just these fantastic musicians who continue to like play in different ways and they want to be a part of something. So I got to meet these phenomenal women and like sing jazz music with them. And that always leads to other things. They're like, you know what, you're good at this. You should be in this thing, you know? And so I just had to go back to the creativity because even when I'm not feeling good, art helps me get the emotion out. So Gina, I was never amazing at words. So I didn't know how to really emote my feelings. And that wasn't always encouraged to be like, how do you feel? I don't think people always ask me, how did I feel?
Nobody ever did. And like, let's be honest.
No. Right. And I had to learn how to ask myself and make space for my feelings and not just shut them down or go and isolate. And that's the only place that I could cry or feel bad or be angry. Yeah. Like, I was like, no, this is how I feel. You need to listen. Like, you gonna listen to this, even if you didn't ask. But I could still be kind, like respectful. Sorry. Yeah. I could still be respectful. So art is a place where I put my feelings. That's where they go. And it goes into those lyrics. It goes into that music. It goes into the painting, whatever. But it was a great place for me to express myself. So that's what I've been doing right now, is finding other ways to express myself through art and finding community to, because artists, we are such sensitive beings. And you're an artist. Like, although you're an athlete, you're an artist, Gina. And we might not be painting stuff right now or have art that we produce that's around the world, but we're artists, and we're artists at heart. And we need, oh, dang. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. What did I just say? Well, just being around other artists, they've gone through it too. And they're emotional. And so we talk about those ruts in our creative process, or, oh, I'm feeling different. How did you transition as an artist? And how did you show other people that you're changing too in your art? So that has helped me a lot, and to reignite that 18-year-old spirit of like, let's just go perform. But also, and I've been performing, Gina. One cool thing is I released a song this year, and I've gotten to perform in a couple of venues in Asheville where I live, which is cool. Awesome. And I had a gig coming up before the hurricane. It was going to be like a town music festival, which is cool. So like, I've been able to perform, and that has been something too. And so,
the link is going to be down below for the music, guys. So the song will be down below.
Okay, great. That's exciting. And then another thing is a lot of alone time to understand who I am now and understand what's going on. So just asking myself really deep questions, having a lot of introspective time, and writing that out. And a year or so ago, I read this book, and it's called The Artist's Way by Julia something. I don't know her last name, but it's a great book because she just talks about like everybody is an artist. You might not be a famous artist, but everyone is one. And living a creative life is important to just well-being. It's important to your community. It's important to your mental health and all of these things. And so in the book, it's like a 6-week program. She has you write out your ideas, or just like kind of like brained up every morning. She calls it morning pages. And then she'll ask you certain questions that you need to talk about and think about with yourself. And then, she'll give you activities to follow through on to kind of like pull out your creative spirit. And it's cool talking to other people about it. They're like, yeah, I started painting from reading this book, or like, oh, I started doing sculptures because I realized that this is something I loved doing as a kid, and now I found it again, you know? Yeah. So it's a really cool book, and I stopped halfway through because it really gets nitty gritty, Gina. It's like, what is one limiting belief that you had as a kid, or what did your parents tell you that you couldn't do? And it's like, oh shoot, this kind of hard. Yeah. It's getting really deep. Yeah. So I'm thinking about starting that book again, and I think that'll be very helpful to me to figure out where that bravery came from at 18 and how I can find it again, because it's still within me. Yeah. It's still there. But something else needs to connect for me to bring it out. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, might just sometimes, because I had to talk to like my 18-year-old self and my 8-year-old self and be like, hey, look, it's okay. Like, we don't have to be. And I think after moving, I went straight into survival mode, and it was like, we don't have to be in this survival mode. We can actually thrive and live and take chances and fail. Yeah. Because everybody, like, I know everybody would say this, who's ever been successful, you fell your way to the top. You don't succeed your way to the top. You fell your way to the top. Because it's the only way you can learn. It's the only way you can grow. It's the only way you can change so that you can get to what you want in life and do in life. And so I think once I got rid of that being scared to fail, you know, like if I fail, I fail. If I don't, that's awesome. You know, like it's not making that choice, taking that chance. Like, what's going to change if you don't take that chance? Like, are you going to still be in the same spot you are? Yeah. So why not take that chance and go after what you want and possibly get it, So I had to learn, and that's how this podcast came about. I was scared. It's like, nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to care. But God was like, no, you need to do it. This is something, that's in your heart, and you know that it's possible. And so I was like, all right, I'm not doing it for who listens. I'm doing it for the one person who needs it the same way I do. And a lot more has come from it, like being able to reconnect with you guys and learn and grow from all the stories that I get to hear with every interview that I get to do. So, yeah, I completely understand. And now look at you, you going out, almost did a whole, a performance at a town, thing going on. And it's already starting. It's just the storm took a pause. That's all it was. Yeah. So you can write your next song and then bring that song to the next one.
Exactly. It just gave me a little break to make some more art.
Exactly.
And I like what you said. We are if you don't make that leap, you already know what life is going to be like because you're living it. It's like, okay, it's going to be this.
Yep.
So
gray and black. Do you want that for the rest of your life?
Right.
Or do you want to get some color?
Right. And I love that you did the podcast because it also gets to show you're multifaceted too, and you have a range of emotions. You ain't got to be like, hey. It's like, hey, what's up? You do that too. So.
My deep voice.
What's up? This is my guy.
I don't have that high noise.
Well, the bass sounds really nice in the microphone.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
it. Yeah. It's not failure. It's just trying and learning. Yeah. And I'm still, it's a continuous lesson because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I got to try.
Yeah, exactly. So let's wrap it up. Let's round it out. Tell me 5-year option plan. Because everybody, I keep asking this lately and everybody's like, I don't have a 5-year plan. All right. So what's the idea? 5-year idea.
Yeah. So, man, that is so funny. I'll tell you what I would like to see for my life.
Okay.
I would like, wait, do you have a 5-year plan?
No, Sha'Air. We've done this whole thing. This whole thing is about you. You keep bringing it back to me.
Sorry.
None.
Gina, that was so funny.
Do you have a 5-year plan? You can't answer the question with a question.
Oh, I was just intrigued. I was like, wow, do people have these? Okay. Because I like a kind of like a loose approach to life, although I have goals and intentions. Sometimes too much of a plan feels too rigid for me. Yeah. So I would say that what I would like to see is more performances. I would like to be in TV and film, and take it more seriously, auditioning again. Mm-hmm. I have business ideas that I want to see running in the next 5 years. And I want to get into the cannabis space. I think it's growing, and it's really important to show people that it's not just about getting high. There are health benefits to CBD and hemp and different things. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to have some sort of wealth that I can give back to my family, or we can build a community together of land and everybody's taken care of and happy. And I want to be at a place where I know myself. I love myself even more than I do now. Mm-hmm. And I have good relationships with my family and my friends. And what else? I want to be rich in life and love. Man, that sounds so corny. But I want to be, but it's true.
I think we've been we grew up to see be independent. You don't need no man, right?
Yeah.
I think I've more of learned I may not need him, but I want him.
Yeah.
I want somebody to walk through life with. I want somebody to be next to me and support me when I'm sad, and me to support them when they're sad.
Right.
I think we've TV has definitely screwed all of us over. TV and movies.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's like, oh, you get married, you lose all your aspirations and stuff. But like, there's so many couples out there now who are like showing like, yeah, we're married and we support each other. She goes and does this and I go and do that. And, you know, they do have some traditional roles, which I'm okay with. Like, look, I know what I'm supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
That makes it easier because once you blur those lines, it's like, oh, you know, I think everybody needs an identity in something, you know?
Yeah.
Some type of identity. And when you take that away, it's like, well, what's my purpose in this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, no,
exactly.
It's not lame. You know,
Okay.
It doesn't sound like a cliche. It's exactly what you want, and it's exactly what you should get and deserve.
Yes. I think so, too.
Okay, then. So speak it into existence.
I receive that. Yes, I really do. And it took me, this is the last moment, but like last thing, but it took me a while to open myself up to love. And so now that my heart is like blossoming and being more open, I'm like, well, what other love can I get?
Yeah.
This feels great.
Yeah.
You know, let me keep choosing that. And I want to keep choosing joy. I want to live a creative life and I want to live a joyful life. And that's the path I want to take. They're like, if I have to make a decision, I'm like, what's the most fun and what brings me the most joy? And I think that's just going to keep bringing great things to me. So that's what I see for the next 5 years.
Sounds like a good 5-year plan. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thanks, Gina.
We're going to close it out, guys. It was so amazing to talk to you, Sha'Air. You guys, listen to her song. It's down below. She's also going to be composing a song for, Stories of Dandelion. So be ready for that when it comes on. And of course, I'm going to let y'all know because it's probably going to play the whole song for you guys and just kind of just let y'all hear it, a sample. But yeah, happy Veterans Day again to all the veterans out there.
Happy Veterans Day.
And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Thanks, Gina. Bye, y'all.
Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There are a ton more tea time episodes as well as stories that are going to be shared on this podcast to come. So please like and subscribe or follow down below. And I will see you all next Military Brat Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I am so excited to continue this journey with all of you.